mobile strategy is a sort of intrinsic part of our business now, because if you look at all the traffic that's going on, we get a tremendous amount of traffic from mobile devices, and people are doing things that we wouldn't have expected a couple of years ago. So I think 2 or 3 years ago, people would have expected that if somebody was looking at the site from a mobile device, they were probably on the dealer lot, they were probably wanting to confirm a spec, or maybe they were looking for a dealer next to another dealer that they were shopping at. And what we're seeing is really that people are using mobile from the very beginning of the process. They're not waiting until the end to use a mobile device. They may be commuting, they may be sitting on their couch watching TV. We don't know exactly what they're doing, but we know that they're using tools that we wouldn't have expected. They're using research tools that we would associate with more of the beginning of the process versus the end. And they're using those tools as much as they're using the ones at the end. So we find people trying to use vehicle configuration tools from their mobile devices at the same time that we see other people actually looking for new and used vehicle inventory. So they're just all across the spectrum of shopping activity. And you know, our approach to it is really to understand what people are doing, ask them questions, do surveys, do research, really try to understand the user, and with that information then try to tailor content for them that makes sense. But I think one of the biggest lessons we've learned over the years is that you just can't make assumptions about users and what they're going to want to do. You really need to do a lot of research, talk to people, try to find out why they're doing, what they're looking for, and then tailor your strategy to meet those needs. I think one of the biggest things that we think about too is we really look at mobile deployment as its own strategy with its own success metrics, its own systems of measurement, its own tracking, its own creative optimization and creative plan. You can't look at it as just one extension of your campaign. You really need to think about it conceptually as a different medium and what you want to do in that medium. But then at the same time, you have to plan your whole content architecture and technical architecture to be able to deploy in that platform too. So it's a weird combination of having to have a lot of commonality and then also having to think about it on its own and really pay attention to it in that way. I think the insights that we get into the consumer from mobile are more things about their shopping process. And I come from a very in-market perspective. The parts of the campaigns that I oversee for Honda are all about people who are currently shopping and currently looking for vehicles. So I think what we've learned a lot about is just that consumer who's in mobile is no different from the consumer who's shopping on their desktop. That they're starting to use a mobile device at the very beginning of their shopping process, and they're using that device all the way through their process. Like I said, I think in the past we would have assumed that primarily they were going to be interested in inventory or offers or finding a dealer, and instead we're finding that they're interested in things that we would associate earlier in the process.